Hi guys, welcome to the Outlaw Half Holkham race weekend video. I'm here with Hannah, who's also racing this weekend for the first time since Weymouth 70.3 2019, and that's probably the last race we did together as well. So we've just been down and racked our bikes, got some fresh water bottles, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the rest of the day. Just got a short jog later. Hannah's going to meet her coach just to do a little race plan session. But yeah, I think that's probably it for today, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning on race day. Good morning, Sunday morning. We are here for Outlaw Half Holkham. So the event's sponsored by the PTO, so that's how I'm racing, and had the heads up, so decided to persuade Hannah to also enter. But yeah, bright and early, 4:30, 6 AM start I believe, and we'll be going off like one every 5 seconds. That's like a rolling start. But yeah, now we're just gonna go and sort our bikes out, check there's no disasters overnight, but yeah, just pump up the tyres and get set up and ready to go. How are you feeling this morning, Hannah?
You're good?
Yeah? First race in a year or two and a bit, so...
Yeah, like maybe 2 years, isn't it? Yeah, just looking to have a bit of fun and seeing it as a big time trial. So looking forward to seeing what I've got.
Cool, catch you in a bit.
Push, push, push! Push! 3 minutes! 3 minutes! 3 minutes! Push, push, push! 3 minutes! Push, push! 3 minutes! 3 minutes! Go on, up, push on! Push, push, push! 3:25, go on, get out of that group!
Come on, Will! Yeah. Carwell! Go on! Carwell, keep chasing! Go, 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 go!
How's your race going?
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm getting ready for Wales. This is the Ironman shuffle.
Wicked. I'll see you on the beach then. Well done, see you later.
Well, I hope you liked the race footage. Thank you to everyone that sent me some clips to be able to use in this video. So now I thought it'd be a good time to just give a quick debrief on how my race went. Again, just want to say a big thank you to PTO for supporting and Outlaw for putting on such a great event. Yeah, it was a really great opportunity to get to race in the UK over a course. Very exciting course and very honest course. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it was a rolling start time trial format, so we went 1 every 5 seconds, and I was towards the back of the sort of PTO wave, so to speak. So yeah, it was like a couple of steps, dive in, and then into your stroke, into the 1900 meter swim. So as you've probably seen earlier in one of the pictures, I'd actually swam with my tri-suit down by my waist. This was the first time I tried this within a race. I did try it in training in the week leading into. And yeah, I think that's definitely something I'm going to stick with going forward. Yeah, felt a lot more freer in my upper body, didn't feel as restricted by the tri-suit, and I think that resulted in a pretty good swim for me. Maybe not as quick as I maybe would have liked to if I was kind of like in a pack dynamic, and if I'd maybe started a bit further up the field and had people passing to use feet. But yeah, just as I started towards the back, just trying to like close those gaps if I could. Sam Proctor, who started behind me, was able to get onto my feet, and we just basically swam around as a 2 I led and he just swam on my feet the whole time. But just through like sighting throughout the swim, I could still see like the groups up in front, so I knew I wasn't as far as behind as I maybe would have been in previous races where I maybe couldn't quite see those groups. Then exiting the water, get the suit on, and I could see like Reese and Chris Standage like leaving transition, so I knew I wasn't too far behind. The way the transition worked, you can kind of look back at the swim exit, and as I was running through, I had a quick glance over and I could see Will Draper just getting out of the water, and also Andrew Hawthorne Turner, who'd started from the sort of elite wave, which was like 4 minutes behind, and obviously Andy's well renowned for his swim ability. So yeah, I was pretty pleased not to get caught by Andy, but I kind of knew then that they were going to potentially bridge up on the bike, and that would maybe help me out in terms of getting back into the race further up the field. So onto the bike, pretty much with Sam for the first 15k. I had a bit of a mare trying to put my shoes on, was like swerving all over the road. Sorry to Sam for nearly like taking you out. But yeah, when I was faffing with my shoes, he came past me, but then once I was like in my feet into the shoes, then I was kind of like on the front with Sam behind. But to be honest, my legs were just like not there. I thought this was going to be a really tough day, and yeah, it was just going to be a case of just getting around. But at around 15k, Andy and Will Draper caught us, and then I just made the effort to get onto the back of them, like legally drafting 12 meters. It was kind of a bit of a saviour for me really, and it just, yeah, helped me like spring back to life and get myself into the race. Well, then get me into the race. So yeah, it was basically then a group of 4 of Andy, Will, myself and Sam. And majority of the time Andy was on the front, Will and I did a couple of turns, but I was kind of just like thinking, like my legs aren't good, just sit in the wheels and wait for the run. But we were riding pretty well at that point, and we were like picking off the groups in front. We caught Chris Standage and James Scott Farrington on quite a tough section where it was quite rolling and like some steeper inclines. And I just knew, like, obviously I do a fair bit of training with Andy, so I know how he's going to plan to ride. So I knew on these like punchy inclines he was going to ride it pretty hard. So I just knew I needed to be kind of like second wheel to be able to follow and react to that and not potentially get dropped. So yeah, we passed those two pretty hard, and I was thinking they probably wouldn't get on the back, but they did. And that was kind of the point where I was like, right, I'm not going to pull through at all now and just kind of like sit and wait for the run. And then yeah, Andy just kind of like sat on the front for the majority of the ride then, and we kind of then hit at around 50k the main A road, and then it got really fast from that point, and we could see like Reese and Sam Wade ahead, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, one big group then, as you could see in the clips previously. We just basically picked off everyone, and Andy just basically sacrificed himself on the front. I'm sure he maybe learned a bit from that race and maybe won't do so much work on the front and maybe save himself for the run in future. But yeah, like big kudos to him for getting us all into the race really, because we all came into transition basically fighting for third place going on to the run, and then it was just kind of a case of, yeah, try and pick people off. On like the sort of 3k back into Holkham estate where transition was, I unfortunately did drop my chain, which meant I kind of lost Will and Andy. So it meant I came into transition a bit behind, but I was just kind of hoping a good run would get me into that kind of podium position, which I kind of thought going into the race, if I had a really good, well executed race, would be possible. So yeah, out of transition, I think I was like roughly in 5th, kind of not too far behind Will and Sam, and yeah, it was just kind of a case of trying to hunt them down. But like, unfortunately, like halfway around the first lap, my back was getting really tight. Not to sound like Harry Palmer and whine about my back, but that is something that I have been like struggling with over the past few years, just kind of like mobility through my thoracic. But like, it's something that if I manage it well, it's not really a problem. But I think just like the long journey getting there, from like west to east, maybe just kind of flared that up a bit, and I was like really struggling. It meant that a few people from behind did catch me back up, but kind of like part way through that first lap, it did kind of ease off again, and I was able to push on again, which was quite thankful for, because that first lap I was like definitely thinking of like pulling off the course. Yeah, and then like towards the end of that first lap, Reese came up from behind, and I was able to kind of like tag on and run with him for maybe another half a lap, and then was just kind of like struggling with a few like stomach issues, which meant I had to like kind of like slow down a bit to ease that before I could get going again. And yeah, I just kind of ended up coming in, crossing the line in 7th position, but then once you equated for the elite wave kind of starting 4 minutes behind, and Harry Palmer crossing the line after having a storming race, he actually like finished 4th overall, so it pushed me down into 8th overall, which, I mean, very respectable result, and a lot more well-rounded performance across swim, bike, run than I have done this season. So I was pretty pleased, but yeah, also disappointed with like what could have been being in such a good position starting that run. So yeah, it's just something to think about going forward, because like this first part of the season, I've not really been able to access that run off the bike, which I know I'm capable of. So just need to delve into that and kind of like suss out what's potentially limiting that. But yeah, like this week I'm just kind of having a bit of like an unstructured week, a bit of a down week, just to recover from this first half of the season. And then I'll kind of like look to get back into a bit of a training block and target some races like in September, October time, I think. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it insightful and enjoyed kind of seeing the race weekend unfold. Please stick around and like, subscribe, and stay tuned for any future videos coming your way.